We are live. All right. Hey, how's it going? We are live. Let me make sure that I have the chat. We're going to go to live chat so you guys can join right on in. I'll say chat away. Ask questions. eBay items, etc. Yeah, if you guys are, if you happen to be looking at eBay or anything like that, and you guys are interested in some knives there, I'm more than happy to take a look at what you're looking at and do that. I know I don't have a regular schedule for my live events, and I'm kind of playing with a lot of stuff. I am exceptionally busy, but I'm here to tell you that working with my knives again, getting back into the hobby, or at least making time for it, is just really good for me. This brings me into a community. It allows me to have a hobby, or it gives me something other than work. And I tend to really get addicted to work. I really tend to just really get overly involved, and I have no outlet for myself. I have the gym. I do go to the gym. I do yoga, but most of that stuff is physical therapy for my issues that I've had. I've had quite a few back surgeries. Now I'm in really good shape, but I definitely work on an awful lot to maintain that. So little backstory on what's going on with me a bit. But to the knives. All right, real quick. I saw this individual, and he borrowed a knife from a YouTuber, and then he sent it back to the YouTuber. And the YouTuber, the knife had a roll in it. All right, it had an issue. It was not the way it was sent to him. Now, in the letter that was sent, said, "Hey, sorry, I just didn't have time to resharpen the knife, or I didn't have time to fix that roll because it was something that needed attention." So this guy borrowed someone's knife, damaged it, right, or dulled it, and then returned it to the guy dull and said, "Sorry, I just didn't have time to do that." And the guy's pretty understanding. He's a guy like myself. He can resharpen his own knives. He probably would have rather resharpen it himself anyway. But when you borrow someone's knife, you can ask him, "Hey, you want me to resharpen it when I'm done?" And your friends, right? I'm going to show you really quick how you can resharpen a knife real easy to a user. Okay. So what do I mean by a user? Okay. This is a knife that is being used, and you just want to resharpen it. Excuse me, coffee time. So I'm going to show you really quick. All right. Get yourself a good quality sharpening stone. All right. You definitely want a diamond coated thing. This is made by DMT. It's a company. Search DMT on Amazon. They run about $25 to $30. This one is real easy. This is my favorite color combination. And most of these type stones use this same color combination to signify. So there's another company, there's a few other companies, and they use the same color combinations also. All right. I like red and blue when it comes to the DMT stones. Now, this doesn't look like much, but this is something that will last you your entire life. And I've done so many videos on this, and anybody like Cyclist here, so many times. Hey, what's up, man? He's been watching me. I've used this on axes. I've grinded axes down. I've resharpened almost a shovel with this thing. As long as you're, not abusing it, it's going to last you your whole life. So real quick, you borrow someone's knife, you have to resharpen it. I'm going to show you how to sharpen really quick. All right. Blue side. It's a little bit more aggressive than your red side. Okay. So you just take your knife, and you can look at the blade. If it's not a convex or something really fancy like that, if it's just your standard, like a Benchmade, well, maybe we should even say Benchmade. If it's a Gerber, or this one's a Klein, just a whatever, throw it on your stone. And the idea is to keep it at one geometry, right? At one angle. See that angle that I got it at? Real easy, right? And you can use your finger to guide it. Okay. Now, all you want to do now, the only trick is the only way you can really damage your knife, okay, is by rolling it off the edge. Okay. Now, what that would do, you can imagine this. If you're rolling it off the edge, you're going to be clipping, right, or hitting the tip of your knife on this diamond stone. So what that's going to do is it won't knock it off, but it'll file it down and you'll lose your tip. Okay. So if you want to see if someone knows how to sharpen a knife, just look at the tip of their knife. Okay. Because that kind of separates, the bad sharpeners from the good. All right. So you can see that tip looks really good. This knife has been sharpened multiple times. So you bring it up. So what you're going to do is when you come to the end, you lift up. Okay. And as you get better, that lift up won't be something so obvious like I'm doing for a video. So, all right, up, up, up. You're kind of going up and out. Okay, and up. Same thing when you come back, just don't hit your finger. But the cool thing about these is it's got a little lip there. It's plastic too. So if you do come back and you hit it, it'll stop. Okay, so here we go. I borrowed someone's knife. This is what we're going to do. We're just going to really sharpen it really quick. All right, that's it. About 3 passes. Let the diamond sharpening stone do your work for you. Okay, turn it over to your smoother side. And some people don't like to have a smooth edge. Some people stop right here and keep that grip. You can kind of feel it's kind of jagged. Okay, hear how it's catching on my thumb? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to change it over to this side. Same thing. Some people find the smoother stones a little bit more difficult. And the reason why is you don't get so much bite. So you're like, I'm not doing anything. No, you are. You are. Trust me. You are. You are polishing that blade. Okay. Now it's a little bit sharper. Now let's listen to it. Not quite as much, It kind of doesn't catch on my thumb as much. Now I got really dry fingers because I work with my hands, guys. See that? I'm a worker, guys. But see this? But why do you want it smooth? What's the purpose behind that? Well, many reasons. A smoother blade stays sharper longer, right? So you don't get those micro cracks or chips that start. And so it's for longevity. So it's a balance, in my opinion, when it comes to your standard, full grind, right? To keep it a little bit jagged. So I'll do blue and then red. I don't go to a green stone and or a white stone or even a ceramic stone. If you want to, you can do it on the edge here. That'll knock off some burrs. If you want to get fancy, you can do it on the edge of your car window, like a ceramic stone. But that's how you do it. And then you can return someone their knife, and it's not all messed up. So it's like, hey, it's a sharp knife. There you go. Good method. I like to make circles sometimes. Yeah, I guess you could do that if you're using more or less like if you're using like a Japanese stone. I definitely use the circle method. You're dealing with 700 grit, 500 grit, 400 grit stones, sometimes 1,000 grit, 2,000 grit stones, and you work up that slurry, right? Then you can get these knives that are polished to just an incredible, level. The Japanese way of sharpening is way different than this. The benefit to this is it really does work really well. It gives you a good edge, sharp, and they're fast. And it works really well, just really fast. It's something that's portable. The Japanese stones, not quite so portable. I mean, you can even go to the little, like the bushcraft websites, even some of the best bushcraft folks. I mean, they'll be busting out their 3 stones and a bucket of water in the middle of the forest to resharpen their knives after they do some bushcraft. And, I know that looks all quaint and awesome, and he's got the fire in the background. And I think I've seen 3 videos like that. You don't see American knife companies doing videos where people are busting out Japanese whetstones and doing a sharpening video in the forest. We don't really sharpen our knives in the forest. American knives, German knives, they like to have one knife and carry that knife and have that knife be able to clean the entire deer. So we focus on those metals, those super metals, in order to do that. German companies, Puma, they prided themselves in having a hunting knife that could clean multiple deer, have a tool to do a lot of the heavy work on the back, right? And then they could flip it over and have more of a sharper blade on the front face of the knife. And they prided themselves on a knife that could last the entire day. You have like the old tobacco knives, like I explained before, you have identical blades on each side. This was so someone could go to work and work all day and have a secondary blade. So when this one starts to dull, you just go to your next blade. It's an exact replica of the other side. So you're not changing the way you would use this knife at all. I'm a firm believer of having a Congress that has very identical sides just for that very reason. Okay. So you don't want something with identical blades to maybe look like this, right? Because as you would flip your knife over, it almost feels like a different knife, So what at the beginning of the day, you'd hold it like this, shield side, and then on this side, you'd hold this way maybe. And I really don't like it that way, but I don't have time to go back and resharpen my knife. So you want that, muscle memory. And that's how they looked at it. When people picked out a knife in the old days, that's how they looked at knives. A lot different than how we look at knives now and use them now. Where'd this go from? Oh my goodness. Let me put that back. So the video title is about which knives to use. And oh man, I'm going to show you 3 knives that I did carry for a while. And my theory on why I did and why I wanted to, or the feeling behind it. There's functional knives, and I did a video on that really quick. I'm working on my house. These are functional knives, like this Klein. It's an electrician knife. It has a very functional Wharncliffe blade, very thin in the pocket. It's just a great knife for painting and all kinds of stuff. I use it for everything. It's a very functional knife. While I'm going to show you the first knife that I had was a Tim Britton. I always say that wrong. And I bought this back. I'm going to read what I actually wrote down in my notes. I paid $325 for this knife. All right. And I purchased it in 2008. And it's a Stag Wharncliffe. All right. I wanted to make sure to get all that right for you guys. And I'm going to show you his signature on this. Of course, it's backwards for you guys. That's just, check that out. Hey, what's up, Sea Monster? Well, I go to church this morning, and I'm always up. I wake up, this morning I was up at 2 o'clock. So I'm always working on something, always. I might take a nap. I get a little tired sometimes because I only sleep like 3.5 hours. It's a curse. In a sense, it's not. I don't fight it. I just get up and I go to work. I do something. I occupy my time. And yeah, it works for me. It's pretty hard. I do. There's really no way for people to compete with somebody that only sleeps 3.5 hours. It's really difficult. So it's really easy for me to say to my buddy, like, hey, yeah, I'll work with you. Sure. What time you want to meet up? He'd be like, I'll be like 7. He'll be like, how about 8? I mean, I've had an entire day before he even decides to wake up. And then even when we get home, I'm not one to sit down on the sofa. I don't think I've ever laid down on a sofa or even sat like this at home. Never, never. I'm either laying down or sitting up straight, doing something, you know. Now I can relax. I have, but just at home, I just don't. Throughout the week, I just don't. I really don't. Um, so it kind of works out. I mean, we live in an economy where you can build things, make things, and yeah, it's great. I like it. I thought that I was early at that just a bit after 4. You had me beat big time. My back is what wakes me up. Hard to go more than 4 hours. That is so funny. Yes, my back does wake me up. That's what gets me out of bed, but emotionally, it doesn't really affect me too much. I've had 5 back surgeries, hernias, all kinds of stuff. Military tore me up. My last surgery was a year after I retired. And yeah, that was pretty brutal. But, I do a lot of yoga, I do a lot of praying, and I work hard, and well, I feel great. I'm in the best shape of my life. So, yeah. But it takes an entire mind shift. I credit me going back to church. I'm in a really good church. It's really motivated me to just do great things. I mean, I'm not one to preach God or say you got to do that. But if somebody asks, I mean, I give credit to my church and Jesus. Because when the time gets tough, when I'm just like, oh man, I can't take this no more. I just put on a good song, something like that, say a good prayer, and it just motivates me to the next level. It's a feeling I can't really describe, and I don't know. I don't fight it because results are everything in life. I joined the military in a pair of shorts and a sweatshirt that looked kind of like this with nothing, little duffel bag. And, I'm retired now. I mean, I'm building a house, but I'm not really retired. What's retired? I work harder than most people. I'm always doing something. And it's always trying to further, help other people. And if you help others and you have a lot of friends and you all work together, it's just amazing what you can do. I mean, like you get 2 people that are thinking the same thing on one project and you work together like really well, man, you can just accomplish so much. I mean, it's just amazing what you can do. I mean, by the end of the month, I'll have completely renovated an entire church, 2 homes. It's amazing what you can do just with your hands and what, God gave you. And to go from, the military to something, I wanted to do maybe inspections and stuff like that, but I'm really enjoying, the framing aspect and the blueprints and all that stuff. I love it, man. It's just incredible. I mean, I feel great. I'm in shape. You can be so creative with that stuff. It's like, I can work on the knives, but I can also like build stuff. Like, I mean, when you deliver a bunch of 2x4s and, some mud seal, man, I can build a wall now. I can do really neat things. I love it. It's awesome. Thinking about it makes me tickle inside. Now, eventually I will be older and I probably won't be able to do that kind of stuff. And that kind of bums me out, but I'll pray about it and I'll have some other gift or something come to me, and where I lack knowledge, Jesus will put those people in my life. And if you knew my life, you would flip out on how true that is. You would flip out. So Sea Monster says, do you have a favorite slip joint pattern? Yes, I do. That's the next knife. I'm going to do that one right now. I'm sorry. A great church is a fantastic thing. Traditional Christian values may be unpopular, but there is no denying the positive effects of it. Absolutely. Nobody likes someone pushing their religion on them or judging other people. You know, I am very liberal when it comes to church. I sin every day, all the time, actually. It is like a constant struggle. And that's because, well, before I went to church, I really didn't know I was sinning. I didn't see anything wrong with some of the stuff. But like, then when you see the effects of that, you're like, whoa, that is a problem. And that is a sin. And so you kind of, some things kind of make you feel guilty. It kind of gives you a conscience, you know what I'm saying? Because I was religious when I was younger, and 20 years I went without, and I was just kind of having fun, you know? I mean, but that kind of fun kind of really leads to a lot of pain and anguish in your life. And it kind of gives you this feeling of like, what's the big purpose of all this shit, you know? And you get older and everything's just really confusing, and people are dying, and yeah, it works for me. Yeah. So I don't push on anybody. Never, never, never. Jesus is a good decision. I agree. Jesus is a good decision. Just purchased 3 Bruckmann knives because of your recommendation. Good idea. Those prices are going to go up. You might want to listen to what I'm putting out here. This is I have never been wrong when it comes to what knives are going to be good, and when I put my ear to the ground, I would listen to that. I think I put out the bushcraft knife phenomena like a year before it even came out. So I forget which video that was, but I know I bought about 300 of them before they skyrocketed, and every bush knife being over $100. I remember when bush knives were like the cheapest knives on the block. Those were the ones that you get for like $5, $10, because they didn't have to grind them. It wasn't like some fancy, you know, clip point. You know, it was just a blank. And anyway, yeah. Trendsetters. Hey, not sure if you remember, but I lived in Williamsburg. Of course I remember you, man. While you were in Chesapeake. I retired from the Air Force from Langley in 2001, now in Lynchburg area. Oh, cool, cool. I knew you were in the Air Force. I didn't know, I didn't remember that you were a retiree. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm retired Navy, so. Sin is really tricky. It can be obvious, which is brutal, yeah. But it can also be very, very subtle, which is just as brutal, just in a different way. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you think bulldog knives are a good investment? Yes. Yes. Bulldog knives are. Lots of counterfeits out there, though. You want a good bulldogger. I am not a good bulldogger. I am not an expert at bulldogs. I have a few people that are, and I shut my mouth and I listen. They're very complicated. I have a bunch of collections. I have a Barlow stag collection that's not here. It is amazing. They are just great knives. Probably some of my best built knives are bulldogs. They are just tanks. They're amazing. I would compare their quality to anything that was made by Bluegrass Cutlery. And we're going to go into that next. All right, so my favorite pattern is jackknives. Oh, whoopsie. So I already showed you the custom, right, that I almost wanted to carry. I just thought this was so beautiful. Now, why did I want to carry this? Because if a knife is something that speaks to me, I'm afraid to use it. It really is. I didn't know this one doesn't have a half stop. Now, if it had a half stop, I wouldn't want to use it. I know that sounds crazy because it'd be incredible. I'd have to keep it beautiful, guys. No, because obviously it would be going up in value, because knives without half stops have really fallen out of favor. And I knew they were going to when I bought this knife. So I figured at the price I could use it, because most stag knives back then were really expensive. So I did carry this for a while. The fact that it does not have a half stop, I just don't like a knife that doesn't have a half stop. So it goes in the collection. It's incredibly beautiful. When I want to show someone an example of how beautiful stag can be, I show this knife off. I say, see guys, see, look at that. All right, let's go. All right, Sea Monster says, any idea why New York knives are so hard to find other than them being out of business forever? We're probably not very popular. That being, I will go to my next knife. Because if something's not popular, the price is not very high. But I'm going to tell you about that knife, and you might want to go out and buy a few of them. Now, I have a bunch of them, and I'm not greedy, and I'm not afraid of the price going too high. And some people might get upset that I'm telling people, but hey, you guys are subscribed to me, so you guys can take my advice or whatever. The next knife that we're going to go to, I got to stay on topic here, guys, is a Winchester knife. This is my Coffin Jack. I don't want to mess this up. All right. This is made by Bluegrass Cutlery. Okay. Now, Bluegrass Cutlery. Who is Bluegrass Cutlery? It says Winchester on it, right? So you're like, Winchester. This is a Winchester knife, buddy. It's not a Bluegrass. Yeah, it is. Okay, since 1980s, is it? I wrote down the date here. This was made in 1987. The cool thing about that is they mark it on the knife, right? Bluegrass Cutlery also made the Case Classic line back in the 90s. Anybody that's familiar with those, even though a lot of them ended up in the trash for some reason, the quality of those knives was exceptional. And then also, Bluegrass Cutlery really likes to do some extra things. They like to do pinch bolsters. They like to do some designs on their knives. They like to have really intricate shielding. Their boxing is really neat. It's a great company, and they usually do a lot of the special editions or special line of knives. I have an incredible abalone collection. I have an entire collection of the abalone Winchesters. Amazing. All made by them. Incredible. I carried this knife for a while. Absolutely beautiful knife with great half stops. Let me show you this pin blade here. Sorry, I'm shaking. I've had 5 cups of coffee. I got to eat breakfast eventually. My family wakes up in about an hour. Just look at that knife, though. You see how they have the extra pinching, and they have the designs and the bolstering. Just an awesome knife. Awesome. I picked this up for like 35 bucks, right? Listen to that snap. Look, it's not going to fall in my hands. Also, with a half stop, one-handed closing. Okay, all kinds of reasons to carry a half stop. So that's that's a Winchester. All right, great one. Didn't Queen make the knives for Bluegrass? They did. They made a few of them. I'm trying to think which ones they did. It's a very, people are kind of sneaky, but I know that you can kind of tell when you look at them. The best way to tell is, oh, I don't even have an example of it. No one makes a single blade lockback like Queen does. And they made a few for Winchester. I think those are the ones you're talking about, quite possibly. I can't even remember the name of that darn knife. Oh, you're killing me on that one. I don't know. I know that Queen made most of the Case Classic stuff. Yes, they did. I have a bunch of them. What are the top 3? Bluegrass also did, correct? What are the top 3 knives to invest in right now? You know what I'm gonna do? Dude, I'm gonna do a video just on this. The Queen, Bluegrass, and Winchester connection. All right, yeah. Give me a couple days on that one. Because I have some really good examples of that, and I believe I'm wrong on what I said. So Yeah, give me a day on that. Give me a couple days on that. I could be wrong though, but I think that Bluegrass wasn't making knives. I think that they had private labeled stuff made for them. I have several Winchesters that are definitely Queen made. I have definite Winchesters that are Queen made also. And I think yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, I forget the name of that knife too. It's a single blade lockback that they make. I didn't even know they existed until I went to a Case XX show. Yeah, Case show up there in Pennsylvania. So there's so many knives out there, so many little batches. Anything that was out there in Pennsylvania is very complicated the way it was, because everybody's related, you know, in a friendly way, you know. What are the top 3 knives to invest in right now? I would have to say Bruckmann is one that I really like. Those are going away, and they're really hard to get. You could really stock up on those. King cutters, old King cutters. Anything Camillus. Anything Camillus. And Schrade, there's so much Schrade out there. There's a lot of Schrade out there. Schrade's not rare enough yet, and it doesn't have quite the military connection, I don't think, but eventually that one too. Do you have any of the big book of pocket knives books? I really enjoy them as they give me great info on my collection. What I have is, I don't have them on me because everything's still my personal goods. This is my mother's flat that I'm in, that I do my broadcast from. But this will kind of look like the knife room I'm making. I'm building my house. And once I'm finished, probably within a couple months, I'm thinking I'm going to have access to my books. But Levin's 4th edition is really good. Goins, I'm saying their names wrong. I know I am. I feel like just slapping myself. Goins, tank stamp identification, right? Now, between those two, you can date a knife. You can look at the rarity of everything about it. And then you can learn how to price the knife yourself. The only thing that I disagree with, and this is why I'm looking at King cutters, and I'm going to tell you guys, I do believe that knives made of wood, okay, all right, such as this, all right, with a nice feel, okay, are going to go up in price. The wood on these handles, wood is just an amazing, when they're made, they're extremely light. But as they age over the years, they really take on a nice, solid feel to them, a lot of character. I have found that wood knives are one of my most popular. And even when people look at my knife collections, especially non-knife people, they really go to these wood knives. They really like them. Because they'll ask, it's like, is that real wood? Like, what is that? And I'll be like, that's wood. They'll be like, wow, that's nice. It's so smooth. Maybe it's the new generation. I don't know. But a lot of people are gravitating to knives like this in my collection. This one, everybody wants to grab this. Everybody wants to say, hey, can I open that one? Everybody wants to open this one. I think non-knife people are going to be coming into the collection realm. I think it's going to be an extremely popular hobby. I think that a lot of the harder, older stuff is going to be very hard to obtain, and that if you can put a really nice knife in your collection, maybe a nice case, $300 knife, maybe a good example of maybe an older Case XX, something of that nature. I highly recommend maybe you do that. I just think that there's going to be I just think a lot of people are going to be entering the hobby. And now what would that create? And I just know from my experience that people like this kind of stuff. All right, let me catch up with these comments. So yes, those are the two books that I like. And if you're really, I'm a really good numbers guy. And you need to know your strengths. You know, the one thing about the military, you're in the Air Force, one thing about the military is you have to write your own evaluations. You have to evaluate other people. You're constantly being evaluated at all times. You have to be extremely self-aware in the military. And if there's an issue, you need to attack it, or it's going to become a bigger problem later on in life. And we all have those issues that we constantly have to deal with. You know, we all have little problems in our head. We all have our disadvantages in life. Life ain't fair. And then some people can bounce back a lot easier. But knives, you need to have knowledge. And Levin's guide is so good. It's so good. I mean, it's so good. That guy, it's really good. I enjoy reading it. I love the history, especially the military knives, you know. What year Tony Bose case knives are the best to buy? Well, the year 2000s do not sell very good. I would say one of the coffin jacks. The coffin jacks are nice. The Whittler, and then I would have to look at every knife they make. But typically, you know, historically, knives that really pull huge prices are knives like this. I'll show you one. Like a nice cotton sampler, something very unusual and incredible like this. If you maintain a nice Northwoods knife like this and you get it for a good price, it's got no cracks in the handle or nothing, this knife is going to pull really good prices eventually. So they really didn't, there'll be few of them around. You know, there really will be. And like an old cotton sampler with I mean, a king cutter like this, 50 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks. Use it. Have fun with it. Look at this master blade on this sucker. You know, 30 bucks, man. Now I haven't sharpened this, you know, now I could put a nice, beautiful blade on that. I could make that tip brand new easily. Check this out. I mean, listen to that snap. Look at this pin blade on this thing. Just a beast. It just feels so nice in the hand, so solid. You know, 30 bucks. Wood handles. You know, because a few price guides said that wood handles are your lowest grade knife. So, oh man, if it's an abalone, it's got to be worth much more. No, actually stag, if not greenbone, or some of the more rare things are more valuable because stag can be cracked and you won't know on an eBay picture, you know. Stag can be ugly. And then what do you do? Or, you know, one year people like their stag flat, right? And then a knife like this sells for a lot. And then next year, everybody wants their stag to look like this, like a boat, right? What do? So when I invest in knives, yeah, I like stag. But if I pick stag, I'm going to have stag that's thin, that mimics a lot of the bone handles, just to be on the safe side. That's how a stag knife, in my opinion, should look. Because in order to fit that stag, you have to attack that stag on the back side and fit it to the knife. Not just slap it on there and grind it down, you know? And so I'll never be a real big fan of a knife like this. I won't. And if the wrong person on the wrong TV show says the wrong thing, knives like this can plummet in value by 50 bucks overnight. And yeah, you got to look at an investment. You have to look at that because that's how you maintain your collection. I mean, money don't grow on trees. I'm not going to tell people to go out and do something that's going to put them in financial jeopardy. You know, that's crazy. Work just called, so I'm grabbing my cold steel stuff light utility knife. Later, dog. See you, man. Dude, that's awesome. Asta. So the last knife on my so we went over the Winchester. That's one that I carried for a while. But this King Cutter that I just went over, that's my third choice. This is one of my favorite knives in my collection. At a value of about $30 to $40, $50. Now, I wouldn't sell it for that much because I guarantee these are going to go up in value. King Cutters. Okay. Now, this particular one, don't want to mess this one up. Okay, Simmons hardware is about 1870, right? King Cutter's about 1880s. I'm putting this at about 1910. Okay, so you're looking at a knife that's over 100 years old, most likely. St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, beautiful knife. Just a real nice one. So why did I make a decision to carry this knife? Well, it's got a half stop, so it allows me to close it very comfortably with one hand if I need to, right? It's got that safety mechanism there. If you got a good half stop, you don't need a locking blade, right? In my opinion. It's just a hide, a half stop is, for stupid, and stupid happens. And I don't want stupid to really hurt. And I collect knives. And just between you and me, I love half stops. I have a lot of knives. I've never been bit by one with a half stop. Never. Okay. So, I have been bit by non-half stops. Because sometimes when they hit over center, some of these, it's like they designed the damn knife to shut on your damn finger. And you can't have a knife like that with a half stop. It can slam shut. All right, you can't catch your finger though. Be careful. Hawk bills. Don't do it with a single blade. And that's why I like to have these double blades. Don't do it with a single blade. Why? That single blade can flip over on you. See that? When you close it. Okay. I don't recommend people close a hawk bill. I'm just telling you for safety. You guys can do it if you want. Okay. But hawk bills, they're not designed to be closed like that. They're designed, see the size? They're designed to be closed on the side of your pocket. Okay? Because they have no point. But don't do that one-handed. Okay? You could also do that with your standard knife, but it's really not good because eventually you're going to stab yourself. So don't do that. Do it with your hand like that. That knife won't flip over in your hand like a hawk bill will. Okay? Do you think new GECs are worth buying for an investment? Depends what the pricing is. Now, remember, I bought my GECs when? Quite a few years ago. I was buying GECs for about $45 to $50 a piece. And these were serialized knives. These were knives. I have number 2 and 3 Barlows that were actually created. Serial number 2 and 3. Serial number 1 is in the case on their wall. So I was very lucky. What else did I get? That was the first acrylics. Yeah, I got the first acrylics. A lot of people didn't like those knives because in the half stop position, they wiggled. Are you familiar with that? What do you think about that? Have they fixed that issue? Please, because I don't have a new Barlow. I have not made a trip to the factory since then. So these King Cutters, highly recommended. Highly recommend these. And you can search YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. You can search eBay right now and see the prices on those. I mean, they're doing really good. Really good pricing. Really good pricing. Turn off my heater here. Oh man, it's cold. Yeah. There we go. So I think GECs are a good bargain if you can get them for a good price. I think the Northwoods, every once in a while you can get a Northwoods for a good price. And GC made a lot of things for other people, and those kind of like slip under the radar. These are the things you want to do. And because if people don't advertise them right or put a description on what the hell they're selling, people won't know what it is. And name recognition is really important with GC. Because if people don't know what it is, they might think it's a queen knife, looks like a queen knife, looks like every other old knife. What you don't realize is you're getting a knife that's really beautiful. I have my whole GC collection is in another location. Those are nice knives. Are all Bruckmann knives good to get, or certain models? I don't really recommend the horn or the camp knife unless you've handled it, but it is pretty nice. Do you guys see that awe right there? Look at that awe, or that punch. We'll just say punch. Hey, no problem, brother. Check this out. Look at this. I'm going to pull this out. Look at that sucker. Yeah, Bruckmann makes some good stuff. This knife is a little jagged. You would have to be a beast. I mean, every knife. I mean, the back springs on this sucker are so... I would have to recommend every Bruckmann knife. Yes, I have to, actually. I would snatch up every single one that I could that's at a reasonable price, not a collector's price. Do you know the difference between a collector's price and a reasonable price? Yes, you want the reasonable prices. Life is short. Always shoot. And there's a lot of knives out there. Always put in your dream price and don't go any higher. Okay? Don't get crazy out there. Don't be, I got to get it because Doggo Running said so. Look at the size of the back springs on this. That's a Bruckmann. Or you want to see a different, okay, I'll compare. A comparative, oh, let me see here. Okay. This knife, oh, I'm going to have to put on my glasses for this one. This is going to be cool. This is going to be cool, guys. This is just Trezor stainless. So this is just a standard like an R etch is stainless. This is just a standard German knife, which is nice. But even this knife has different. Look at the size. Now this is your standard German knife on my left. Look at the back springs on these Bruckmanns. There ain't. You want to see a current knife? All right, here we'll do a. Now GEC gets pretty close. This is a knife made by GEC. Okay, now that's why GECs are so kick-ass. Okay, but let's look at I don't know. How about where's a case? Come on, guy. Here we go. Case is a little bit smaller, and that's a hell of a lot bigger blade than those little things that are in there. Get your screwdriver and all that. So this is about as cheap as they get. Okay, and they have a lot of this is a buffalo horn Bruckmann. How many do I have? Excuse me. I have quite a few. And I'm about to get more. They have some really cool single blade knives, some really nice ones out there. And like I said, people just give them away. I just can't believe it. And when you get one, you're just like, they're great, because there's a lot of people out there that don't really collect knives and they just sell. They don't really care. They're not going to be like, dude, I'm going to hold on to these two. I mean, they're beautiful. And in my opinion, they're not making any more of these knives. There will never be a knife that's built to this level. Never. You can't even get custom knives this nice. I'm going to say that this is nicer than a custom knife. I'm going to put my glasses on because I really don't want to. So sorry, guys, but check this out. I'm going to show you this knife. See if I can get some light here for you. See, you got that nice file blade. This is the back side of the knife. Then you got this like needle thing. It's even got a cutout. See the cutout? So you can reach it better. You know, knives don't do that. That back spring needed to be cut out before they installed it. Here's your corkscrew. And see how they did that final cut right there? And look how they have the step. So when you close it, they fit this to this particular knife. Little spoon. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. Tortoiseshell toothpick. Yeah, definitely quality knives. Let's see what else they got on this thing. You got a saw. Next blade is a, oh man, look at that. Look at that that's like a Warncliffe before there was a Warncliffe, guys. It has a beautiful etching on it too. Oh man. These all have the crocus polish. The crocus polish is a, look at that, an undistorted image, just like a mirror. You can read your text. And I'm shaking the boot. Let me see. I got to get some breakfast, guys. Oh, man. You think Victorinox invented the scissors? No, they did 150 years ago. Another Warncliffe, before there was a Warncliffe, on the small end of the knife. On the small end of the knife. What do I mean by that? The swell of the knife is on the back end, so it feels your hand better. Everything about this knife is amazing. And this is a Bruckmann, well over 100 years old. So that kind of gives you guys a look at, yeah, Bruckmanns are pretty good. Investment, a lot of people want to know that. Yeah, I'm more than happy to look at an eBay like live. I'm going to probably start doing that. I'll be doing that. I'll probably put in the title. I'm looking at eBay right now, and I can give you guys my opinions on any knife that you're about to buy or you're thinking about. Who makes the best, strongest knives? Western. Western does. So if you want a good user, pick yourself up a good Western. I think better users than a case. Just a little bit beefier, and they have a half stop, which the case knives don't. And it really makes me feel uncomfortable using a blade this big without something to stop it. I would never do that with a case knife. So. But these are real bone handles. And if I'm going to put something in glass, hard to beat that. So I would still pay more for this than that. So Thanes are expensive for a reason. The shape of their blade is better. Probably one of the most attractive blade shapes of all time. Would you be interested in trading? I have a Hinder Gen 6, 3.5, new in the box, trying to get into the old knives. Yeah, I don't really, I'm not trading quite yet. I don't have all my stuff. I am going to be doing something. Yeah, I might even, yeah, it's so many exciting things are happening with the knife hobby. So I'm either going to be doing it with, I'm either going to be, I think, I'm either going to be doing my idea with them or I'm going to be doing my idea with me, in my opinion. Um, Either way, for me, I'll be happy. So, because for me, it's the hobby. I would do this. I'm doing this for free. I maybe make $5, $6 on these. I mean, if you guys want to donate, sure, go ahead. I run my life on credit cards. I invest and reinvest. What you see is my savings. You know, do I live on the edge? I do. I am retired military, so I do have access to healthcare. So I don't feel that struggle that most people do in that aspect. Um, so that does allow me to be able to do stuff like this. People without healthcare, I can understand. They're like, "Damn, that sucks." But I put up with the military to get that healthcare. When I was in the military, they required me to run, exercise, stay a healthy weight, all that, or they would fire me. So until we can require civilians to live a certain way, I don't think that we should provide them with free health care. And this is the reason why, not to be political, and I think it makes sense, is because then it gets me in your business, right? If I'm paying for your health care, at what point can I say, don't put that in your shopping cart? Not that I would do it, but there would be so many jerks that would. And I don't think we want to live in a country like that. I just don't think we want to. So if I think maybe some companies, could require certain levels of performance from their people, then those companies could provide health insurance. A lot of government agencies, they afford their workers gym time. And they have found that if you say go to the gym, they actually do something, whether it's sit in the sauna or do something, and it works and people are healthier. So I don't know. I could pick your brain all day. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. Hey, no problem. No problem. Thanks for listening, man. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. But I have church to go to. I hope you guys enjoyed my look. This Winchester knife is absolutely beautiful. Keep your ear to the ground. I gave you guys some clues on some knives that are definitely going to go up in value, in my opinion. I do believe that the knife community is going to be getting larger. You guys want to take advantage of this time in your life. One day you'll be my age and you'll say to yourself, or you'll be even older. How about that? And you'll look back, you'll be like, damn, I wish I knew that back then. And you want to be, I encourage trading your knives. I encourage selling your knives and reselling them and reinvesting in your knife hobby to, because it's a hobby that's fantastic. If you've ever been to a knife show, man, it is incredible. All right. This isn't like church. Okay. Church is great. All right. But, church, some people aren't religious. They aren't. But knives, everybody can get into this. And it's just a great hobby. And then at every knife show, they always have someone selling jewelry or some earrings or something like that. So, you can, when you buy yourself a knife, maybe you buy your wife some earrings when you're there. I mean, it's just great. They love it. Everything's fantastic. Tap goes, I think I'm your age, 44. I am 46. I'm 46. I can do 25 pull-ups and I can run like a 620 mile. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a maniac, dude. I'm a maniac. It's fun though. So it's fun. Yeah, we had the Marines down here at some civilian event and they had the pull-up bar there. And that was so much fun. That was so great. They're doing the pull-ups, and the average Marine can do about 10 pull-ups easy, and but I've been with Marines. I worked with the Marines the whole time, a lot of times, and they're just like us. You either exercise or you don't. Well, I was the PRT coordinator, so I really enjoyed surprising Marines because they have such low expectations for us Navy guys. They really do, and yeah, so it was fun though. They didn't know. I just looked like some old guy with gray hair, and I was like, let me give it a try. I'm like, they're like, what'd you do for a living? I'm just like, oh, I just retired from the Navy. I was like, go Navy, and then I walked away. Few people laughed, So yeah, Marines are good sports. I've always enjoyed Marines because they have that camaraderie. And in the Navy, it's lacking. It is. And, but yeah. Off topic, but check out Wim Hof breathing method. Okay. Gotcha. Wim Hof. Gotcha. All right. I'm out, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Some information bombs, I hope. And yeah, tell me what you get. All right. And yeah, cover up them knives. Keep them not dusty. Later.